When you talk about networks, immediately the first thing I go to is Ethereum versus Bitcoin. I know people are gonna hate this.
The technology is actually quite different, especially between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin is designed to do one thing really, really well, which is to be a monetary base, a base money.
Let's be honest. Ethereum, network effect wise, shit is happening in that space. Okay, faster than it was in the Bitcoin space. So that's telling you something.
Yes. So when I look at the number of wallet addresses, active wallet addresses in Ethereum, and match them when Bitcoin was at the same phase, the actual speed of accumulation of wallet addresses in Ethereum is twice as fast. So it is getting network effects faster. The number of developers on the platform is miles more than the Bitcoin network. The number of applications is miles more. That doesn't mean Bitcoin is dead or there's anything else. It's serving a different purpose, and that's okay. And it will have some of the attributes of Ethereum, and that's okay. But the facts are the number of active addresses in Bitcoin is growing at 50% a year. I mean, that's huge. Ethereum is growing at 100% a year. And the entire space is growing at 113% a year. So Ethereum is basically doubling in its network effects versus Bitcoin, but arguably the network effects are more because of all of the other applications, the developers, and all the other parts of it. So yeah, I mean, this is a beast that is being unleashed, and the market's just starting to realize how powerful this is. And could Ethereum take some of the moneyness of Bitcoin, the store of value, as it pivots this 1559 token and the ETH 2.0 and the restricted supply and all of the other things, maybe the reduced gas prices? Well, yeah, I mean, I think you're going to see ETH outperform this whole cycle. We don't really know where this is all going. This argument's not going to be done in 2 years' time. There'll still be lots of protocols. There's another really super interesting protocol that's launching today, I think, called Dfinity. I don't own any of it, but this looks like it's absolutely monstrous. All the kind of people who should be invested in it have been invested. It's been developing for 5 years, and they've launched it with applications and showcases and everything. I don't even know what this means, but I think it's coming out worth $100 billion. I mean, at launch, there's many of these things that are worth like $500 billion already, but this is huge. And it's come out of nowhere for most of us. Others obviously will know all about it. So we don't know where this is all going. I think of it as we're not fighting for pieces of the pie. We're creating a whole new pie, and it's bigger and bigger. And all of this is seeing network adoption. A bunch of it won't, but even bloody Dogecoin is getting network adoption on one side. We're not getting the other side yet. We're not getting many use cases. Sure, the Dallas Mavericks will take it as payment, but what if somebody does use it as a network for payment systems or builds another infrastructure on it? Then you've got all of these millions of users using it and investing in it.
Well, when you talk about network effects, we already we went into the minefield of Bitcoin versus Ethereum. I want to go to something that's more interesting because you talked about it earlier. India. I'm thinking about emerging markets in general. So when we talk about the FANG-M, we're talking about Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix. Although I don't know about Netflix in that category. Google and Microsoft. We see some of the FANG-M in China, as you mentioned, Tencent, Ant, Alibaba. You mentioned one for India, but there are tons of potential FANG-M types network companies in the emerging markets. So when we look forward from an investing perspective, even from a traditional investing perspective, even if you're not looking at crypto, someone asks this question here, in fact, if crypto is the best macro play, should somehow crypto have an unexpected downturn for a long period of time, what is the second best asset to own, macro speaking, and what would be the hedge for crypto? Isn't that a play?
Let's say you don't like that philosophy, because the US seems to be the center of these network effects. But as you rightly say, the application of these network effects in emerging markets is exponential in its own way. So you will see this, and you've seen it in India with the adoption of digital technologies. And I'm going to interview somebody in the next couple of weeks about the Digital India stuff and what's happening at the fintech layer, which is fascinating. I mean, right now in India, Google Pay, which we don't have, Google Pay means I can send Ed Harrison $10 to your phone number. That's all I need. Because India has this UPI payments rail underneath that's instant payment system. Once you start multiplying the payments technologies and the fintech layers, you start to free up capital. You're freeing up capital in a country like India where capital is scarce, and you give it access to the global capital markets via cryptocurrencies, and you start upgrading to 5G technologies and all of this, you've got a game changer on your hands. You're going to change the trend rate of GDP growth. And that's not going to happen just to India. We've seen it in China. That'll continue in China. China has figured this out a long time ago and is pretty much more advanced than anybody else in all of this. And then at the same time, we will see it spread across Africa, all emerging markets, and I think it will take a step change. I think countries like Saudi Arabia, which was basically driven by the dollar and oil, will see huge changes as it shifts towards EV, renewable energy, technology. Now, are they going to be successful or not? I don't know. It's all about network effects. We'll see it to see whether they start attracting businesses and they can attract capital that attracts new opportunities, and that creates the network effect within the economy that Silicon Valley did in the US. So yes, I think you're dead right. Their banks are broken. Right? This is why they're going to central bank digital currencies. They need to bypass the banking system. Europe has no growth. So it's got no growth, high debts, and a banking system that doesn't work. So you're going to have to somehow bypass the banking system, which is the central bank digital currencies, and then you'll need to retool the economy to something different that can generate higher growth. Because selling Louis Vuitton and German engineering is not going to cut it, because these are, generally speaking, step change industries that don't employ that as many people. They've got aging populations across Europe. So the electric age is where we're going into. That's the digital age, right? It's electricity capturing and transfer and attaching bytes to it. That, if you can spend money now to retool like you would do a factory to modern technology, which is retool all of Europe, you have a chance to generate enough growth to pay back some debts. But if you don't do it, so you have to take more debts to do it. So I get it. The bet's a mess. It's not easy. But if you don't do it, the economy's never going to transform itself, and you're stuck forever. So I kind of feel like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. But at least one of them has a call option attached. Anything else doesn't have a call option. Most of the other outcomes have put options.